Welcome back to the Willis Podcast. How you guys doing, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, it's been a minute, but I still been active. You know what I'm saying? We still been doing what we got to do. Most of the time, we got to make sure we spend time and we have to carve out time to spend with our families. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, this very necessary, especially when you got, you know what I'm saying? When you got a child or you got kids or you got a spouse or you have people that enjoy your company, friends and family. All of these things very matter so much. So anyway, this is why when people that mean that much to you, you have the ability to carve out time for them. That's why delineation, carving out your own path. That's why that matters so much. See, sometimes you got to take time to just love on yourself and love on your family and love on the people around you and communicate with people that love you and that you love because those are what you call healing mechanisms. Do you understand? Sometimes when you're around unfamiliar people, they tend to drain your energy a little bit. So let me get into it. Anyway, this show is about understanding why delineation matters, separating truth from illusion. So, it's self from imitation. You understand? Self from imitation. Also, the real alliance is from false attachments. Too many people build relationship movements and identities on unstable foundations. See, we're starting to understand that with the, NAACP, United Black Caucus, the Democratic Party, you know, things that have to change because of false representations. But anyway, let's get into it. Uh, See, the thing is, they copy others, comfort for acceptance, and lose themselves trying to belong to something. But see, when you are a Black American, you set the tone, you set the precedent, you set the order, you set the you have the vibrations to do so. You understand what I'm saying? So the thing is, I just want to argue a few points. Defining yourself before the world defines you, creating allegiances and alliances rooted in truth instead of convenience. Also, standing on your own principle before joining anyone else's vision. See, these are things that we can and shall and have to do for ourselves. And if we can't do that, then you can't be taken seriously. See, the Wheelers podcast, we become a refuge for people that do understand these things so we can have a very collective understanding and a conversation. See, trying to reclaim clarity, identity, authenticity, and connecting in a world full of manipulation and performative loyalty. A whole lot of people got a lot of performative loyalty because they got to have things their way in order to do one thing, get their little shit off. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy, but it's true because that's what people try to do. In essence, that's really what it is. So you have to carve out your own path for your own benefit, your own perspective and identity is extremely important. Therefore, you can find true allegiance and alliances. But let's keep going. See, the thing is, we can see a lot of things a few ways, right? Check this out. Everyone wants a connection, but nobody wants the truth. Everybody wants that connection, though. But we have to define connections. When you have a connection with people, you can define truth. That way you have more fertile ground. But let me go forward. Some people form allegiances because they are afraid to stand alone. Some people build relationships without ever building themselves. And you want a relationship with someone. But anyway, okay. And then the foundation is weak. But after the foundation is weak, what happens after that? Everything collapses. That's what it collapses. So let me tell you why delineation matters. When you must know where you belong, the manipulation ends. When you must know what belongs to you, what forces on you to do. You understand? You must know how to carve out your own lane before the world traps you inside theirs. So if you don't know who you are, the world will find a place for you in layman's terms. The thing is, if you don't know your true history or your origins, how can you ever stand up and be a respectable person that can be taken seriously? See, the thing is, you have to understand your origins and your purpose. Some people feel that they do, but what if it's on not so good grounds? Think about it. Check this out. The world has created false alliances, false leaders, false friendships, false identities, and false realities. It's true. But right here on the Wilderness Podcast, we dare to be different. Why do we dare to be different? Because this is a refuge for people that seek clarity, a refuge for people that seek truth, and a refuge for people trying to rebuild a solid ground for themselves and within themselves first. That's where it really starts. So tonight, let's talk about delineation, the separation of truth from illusion, the separation of self from conformity, and while the strongest thing we can ever become lies clearly within yourself and your grasp. So let's talk about it. Delineation creates identity. You understand? If you never separate your mentality, emotionally or spiritually, you become a copy. Most people inherit beliefs instead of building understanding. When you inherit a belief, you didn't study it, that's what you were told. This is what was given to you, nothing that you established for yourself. That's a fact. So delineation means identifying what truly belongs to you. For one is your own mind, but for two, what truly belongs to you. Think about that. See, false alliances destroy people. You understand? Some false alliances are built on fear, money, status, convenience, or plain old survival. If the people around you don't strengthen your truth, they weaken your foundation. Not every partnership is healthy simply because it exists. Just because someone says they're your friend does it really mean they're your friend, or does it even mean that they have what's best for you? See, the good thing about honesty and friendship is you have to be mutually respectful and never, ever in life try to hurt your brethren. Never. That's the reason why you call them a friend. It's a family member that don't share a DNA path. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But all is well. If a person positions themselves to take care and cover you, I think you should do the same. I know you should do the same. That's what I would do. I would make sure I take care of people that take care of me. That's a fact, man. That's a fact. But anyway, let's get back to it, because this is why when you delineate, you have to carve out your own path, because it's very specific. People that you love and people that love you, They react a certain kind of way when they interact with you. Yeah, they show it too. So check it out. Not even partnerships is healthy simply because it exists. I mean that. And I'm telling you that again because some partnerships are not worth having if that person is not participating and being appropriate with their actions. What if they're robbing? What if they're a thief? What if they're a killer? What if they're a stealer? What if their behaviors put your life in jeopardy? You can't do that to your family. Some people will. I don't think it's necessary because if a person stands upright and honest, they're not going to distribute that to you. So anyway, people become false within themselves. Why? Think about this. The world rewards performance over authenticity. Performance. Look at Shea Gilchrist Alexander in the NBA right now, setting an improper example of what basketball stands for. If everybody's sitting up here calling you a flopper, 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 well, perhaps because you flop, perhaps because you play unethical basketball. That's how I feel about Shea Gilchrist Alexander. Extremely unethical form of basketball. You have the skill sets. You are a great player. You're special within your craft, but that's your numbers are not real to me. Your MVP awards are not real. You play a form of basketball that has been yielded by refuge and referees. When the whole league is explaining and crying out and telling the people, yes, we do. Yeah, the audience, the consumers. We do see the same thing you see, coaches. We see what the refs do, allegedly. It's only our eyes. I'm just stating what I see. I mean, I could be wrong. Very much so. Absolutely. I could be wrong. But in all actuality, am I? I mean, these people are entertainers 1st. They entertain us. So when the refs call it what it is, yeah, do they lie in front of our eyes? Yeah. Who else does the same tactics and tricks? You have to understand these things. So anyway, many people no longer know who they are without validation because they don't want to freely think. They want to freely consume. You see what I'm saying? No more free thinking. You want to freely consume. So when you think and share an opinion that is unpopular, just because you're not with the popularity or in the popularity contest, so you have your own brain to think, you get attacked. Wow. Anyway, check this out now. Weak foundations create betrayal, confusion, and manipulation. So the thing is, if I'm telling you, or if I'm saying I see a flaw in the constructs of how the NBA allegedly is calling games, the referees and the officiating and all of it, if I say that allegedly, I'm wrong. I know I know what I grew up watching. I know that I know that's not the way basketball is supposed to be played. Allegedly, if you're looking at the whole, of it all, like I'm supposed to believe what I'm seeing, and I'm seeing unfair, calculations that are not translating across the board freely and fairly. I see a tilt in the officiating. I see some things that are not, it's very questionable. That ain't, my eyes are not lying to me. I just see the game and how they play in the game, even on Victor Wembanyama, how they allow wanting to literally, allegedly, get off on blatantly fouling. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's get into something else. We got to move on. We're gonna move on. So, real relationships require solid ground. You understand? When you delineate and carve out your own path, real relationships require solid ground. Dig this. Before you build with others, you must know yourself, your likenesses, your kindness, how you are constructed. And strong people create strong alliances because they know what they want to see and who they align with. You have a right to do that. So also, weak foundations create betrayal, confusion, and manipulation. Again, I told you this. But let's get to something positive about these things. The Wilderness Podcast is a refuge, a place where truth matters more than popularity. We love the truth. A place where you can come and think independently. I only want to expand your thoughts, not tell you what and how to think. Help you expand yourself, your mindset, your curiosity, how you want to construct yourself, because the will is yours. You understand that. That's what we do understand about each other. Okay? In a place where rebuilding self awareness and mental clarity. You dig that? So I want you to love coming here, share, like, subscribe. You understand what I'm saying? See, the greatest person isn't the greatest prison isn't chains, it's becoming disconnected from yourself and who you are and what you know to be true. People will tell you who love you, they'll try to tell you who to follow. They want to tell you who to become. And they want to tell you who to not connect with. They want to tell you who to hate when you shouldn't be hating nobody at all. You shouldn't be doing that. But delineation is the ability to separate your own mind from the noise. That's where freedom begins, man, like for real. It really does. The Willis Podcast is not here to create followers. We're here to help people remember themselves. We subscribe to ourselves. Do I want you to subscribe to the Wilderness Podcast? This is not a cult. This is a alumni. You understand what I'm saying? So check it out. I love you guys. I appreciate you for tuning in to the Wilderness Podcast. I hope you got something from these concepts, understanding that. At the end of the day, everything goes back to you. You may have to delineate from people that you share blood with. As long as you can secure yourself and understand the better parts of you lie within the development of yourself, hey man, you an alumni. I'll holler at you. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning into the Wilderness Podcast. And once again, this is my favorite part of the show. The will is yours. Be cool, be easy, be at peace, and stay peaceful. Peace.